right, we are back. The one and only OSB Sports Podcast Show. I'm Scott Matthews. Another jam-packed week. I can't believe it. It's week 6 already of the NFL season and week 7 in college football. I am joined by my 2 co-hosts, the one and only, come on guys, give him a big hand, the big kahuna of OSB, Tommy D.
What's up, my friend?
Everything is good. I like the hat, man. I like the hat.
My lucky
Stylish
hat.
today.
I'm wearing green for positive results this week.
Green means it's a go. Let's do it. And can't forget about this gentleman, the number one man at the Sports Profits, Mr. Teddy Brooks. Teddy, what's up, man?
Howdy, guys.
I'm getting outshined with these hats.
We're doing the hats. We're doing the floral, all that good stuff.
I like it.
Got to keep it bright and positive.
Hey, that's the way to do it, man. Positive.
But black, in financial terms, being in the black is being in the profit too. So,
well, we got to get them in the profit this week because there's some great games out there. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I know the Big Kahuna has been chomping at the bit, trying to take advantage, a little sore subject for me as a Boston guy growing up, the New England Patriots situation up there with now ownership and the head coach. Big Kahuna, can you fill us in on the latest you've heard?
Well, I saw a piece on the New York Post this morning. Mr. Kraft is getting a little antsy with Belichick, and they're saying, listen, he may not be there forever.
What about this year? He's going to get through the year?
I don't think they're going to throw him out in the beginning of the year, but they're saying it's a 2-year program at least for the Pats to get back into the win column. Is Kraft going to want to invest another year with Belichick? I said in the beginning of the year when we started this show that I think this could be his last season, and there's grumblings right now. Mac Jones, I don't think he's a leader. I don't see this team going anywhere
Looking
this
nasty,
year.
Matt Jones.
Hey, sometimes you got to start from fresh. When Jerry Jones purchased the Cowboys, he got rid of everyone. That was with the Landry days.
Yep.
So are we going to see that again?
I want to get Teddy's take because I know he likes, he's on top of a lot of stuff. You have anything on that subject matter, or are you staying clear of that right now?
I have to give Tommy his props on this one because Tommy, I heard it first from him before anyone else. Now I'm hearing rumblings all over the social media world, different podcasts, different shows about people calling for the end of the Belichick era. The problem with Belichick is he has his way, right? And they call it the Patriot way. And it worked for many years, but
look who he had running behind him.
Exactly. So maybe they should bring Brady in to coach the team. But in all reality, that Patriot way, these players might not be buying into it anymore, and it could be a problem.
Let me ask you a question. That success for so long that everyone was saying it could have been Belichick, could have been Brady, what made them such a dynasty for 20 years. Now it's seeming like Brady gone. Since Brady's gone, they're not the team. And Belichick has made a lot of bad coaching decisions over the last 3 or 4 years. So, you never know what this could have been like, because of Brady and what he did over the years that made Belichick so great as a coach. Any take on that, you guys?
Brady was the guy, and Brady proved that he could go somewhere else and make it happen.
Right.
Belichick hasn't proved anything yet. And if you think about it, Belichick really, before Brady, what did he really do? So questions are raised.
Kraft is not a young man. He was used to a dynasty. I think he wants to go out with another Super Bowl. I don't know if he's going to get it with
that one.
I don't know if he's going to get it with Belichick.
With this team. The only Super Bowl he's going to get is the Tidy Bowl.
He wants to at least get a respectable record, and I don't know if he's going to have it with Belichick, but time will tell.
Well, they're looking terrible, and the only team probably looking worse than them right now is probably the New York Football Giants, as they say. All right, well, anything else you want to add? Any other?
No, I got a lot of big plays lined up this weekend.
Okay.
I mean, NHL started.
I'm jacked up too.
NHL started. That has a lot of possibilities. I did have the Vegas Knights last night at home.
Way to go.
So an NBA starts in 2 weeks.
4-1, first game out of the box. That crowd was like, I watched that game last night on ESPN.
Well, defending champs. I mean, listen, I
jacked up there.
Yeah,
wow.
I laid it on the money line. You could have had it -1.5 as well. So NHL's here through June.
I think we got to talk about, because Teddy and I were talking about this before the show, probably the most bonehead play last weekend, probably all year this could be, the most bonehead play was the game between Georgia Tech and Miami. You want to take this one over? Because I know that's close to your heart with down here in South Florida. But if you guys watch the ending of that game, whew, nasty.
Yeah, I mean, never really been a Miami fan, but I do like the legacy and the culture that they have. What's his name? Cristobal? Cristobal. Mario Cristobal. So he went to Miami. He made some changes. He tried to make some culture changes. The one thing that I really didn't like was he took away the turnover chain. So Miami had a thing. They had that big gold U, and every time someone got a turnover, they put that on. He came in. He took that out. Okay, that's fine. But now, you said the most boneheaded this year. I would say probably this decade. I have never seen anything like that before. It was disgusting not to just kneel, and they lost the game because of it. I think we have a little footage on it.
You're going for a 5-0 record. Look at this, guys. Wow, this is kind of nuts.
Now, granted, they barely scored in the first half of this game. It was already bad.
I mean, now we got to this is how much time left in the game we're talking? A kneel
26
down
seconds. A kneel down ends the game. Now, the interesting thing is a lot of people say he might have been down there. If you look at the replay, it does look like his elbow touched, so that's a little fishy.
Yeah.
But then Georgia Tech capitalized on it.
But, he's done this before. He made a crucial mistake as a head coach when he was with Oregon, I believe, and it cost him the game towards the end also. I don't know if it was a kneel down or he did something he should have done and made it a sure win for them, and he cost. So this is the second time this guy has done something like this, which is crazy because this team could have been 5-0 and, ranked high up in the standings. It cost them the game. Look at that. In the last 10 seconds of the game, Georgia Tech takes the ball and goes 75 yards and ends up winning the game.
70 yards, win the game. Crazy stuff. You're hearing about it a lot down here, but like I said, one of the worst things I've seen in college football in years.
I think Tommy is sitting quiet because he can't believe it himself. He's more in shock than anything about a play like that.
Well, I don't know if you call it a coincidence, but since this legalization, you've seen some really strange stuff out there, and one has to wonder.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
Well, it might be a stretch, but, man, I don't know.
Yeah, I
think people are paying more.
It had nothing to do with the point spread, though.
On that one, but I think people are paying more attention to the spread as they have.
If it was towards the point spread, then you might have a little more of a conversation. But that Miami was a huge favorite, so it didn't matter towards the spread or anything like that. All right, guys, we got to move on because we got an action-packed show, and I'm excited. Our records on Thursday Night Football this year have been just like sky high. I hit the Justin Fields passing. That was the only play I put out. I didn't put a play on it, but I played over his passing yards. I think I won it by halftime.
You nailed that one, boy. That was my first. Thursday was my first Thursday NFL loss.
Oh, 4-1, all of us, I believe, at this point in time. So we're doing some numbers. We got a Thursday night matchup this week. Obviously, the lowly Denver Broncos going in to Arrowhead to play against the Kansas City Chiefs. The current line on this game on a short week is Kansas City 10.5. The total has come down to 47.5. I'm going to start with Teddy on this one and get if he has a strong opinion or what's his thoughts on this Thursday night game.
Well, being that I lost my first Thursday, I was given Thursday night I didn't even like the game last week, but I felt like I had a streak going, so I had to give a pick. Being that I lost last week, Thursday night NFL, I'm sticking to Thursday college, so I will pass the ball to Tommy on this one. Not touching this game.
I'll gladly accept. Thank you.
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to hand it over to you. There you go.
I mean, Thursday night football has a stigma. It's always like the crappiest game in town here. Let's look at this one. First of all, they're talking bad weather. 22-mile-hour winds, rain. The total has come down from 52 to 47.5. KC is favored by 10.5. I'm going to have a lean on the game, but I do like a prop. If I had a lean, I'm going to take the Broncos here. I mean, Denver has lost the last 10 times against KC, but their ATS record is 5-5. All right, this is a big number. The weather may have definitely a say in this. I'd lean towards Denver, but that being said, Andy Reid is definitely going to use his running backs if it's going to be a short type of offense game and he's going to be passing to them, I have a really nice prop here. Isaiah Pacheco, over 13.5 receiving yards, excuse me. I think they're going to be using the running backs here for KC. KC wins the game. Not sure if they cover. Over 13.5 receiving yards. Isaiah Pacheco for KC is my strong bet for Thursday night.
Okay, is that it?
That's it at this point. I'm going to lean towards Denver, take plus the 10.5.
This game's a really interesting game on paper. It looks like a one-sided demolition. I mean, it really does. I mean, you got Denver's allowing 36 points a game on defense. Their defense is the worst in the league. I think they're ranked 32nd. Kansas City's got one of the best defenses in the league, allowing only like 16 points a game. I mean, think about that. That's 20-point difference right there just on the defensive side. They're both averaging about the same amount of points on the offense. One's about 24, one's about 25. But that defense, that crowd, is going to jack up Kansas City. They want to keep winning. I don't know. You guys didn't even mention the most. What about Taylor Swift? She going to be at the game?
Who knows?
She's 3-0 right now. I think at games she showed
She didn't
up.
go to that. She didn't go to the Minnesota game.
She didn't go.
You really think Taylor Swift is going to Minneapolis, Minnesota?
Hey, listen, she'll go wherever her man goes, I guess. But anyways, to get back to this game on paper looks like a one-sided nightmare, and I got to be honest with you. Denver just finds ways to make mistakes, turn the ball over, crucial things that cost you from winning football games. Now, Russell Wilson has had a really good year. 11 touchdown passes, only 2 interceptions. He's got a better passing rating, a power rating, than Mahomes. He's got a 106 rating so far through the first 5 weeks, which is pretty huge. Mahomes is 97, but I'm not comparing apples and oranges because it's not even close. But I'm going to tell you what I like in this game because of that strong defense that Kansas City's going to pressure them. I like under the passing yards on Russell Wilson as a prop play. A strong under. I think it's about 230. Anybody can pull that up right now. I think it was about 238, somewhere in that neighborhood. I like under the total passing yards. Kansas City will keep this guy in check and keep it under that 238 for Russell Wilson. That's my play for tonight on Thursday's game.
Well, one thing I'll say about that game also, giving Tommy some defense for his pick, is a lot of times these big spreads don't get covered on these Thursday night football games. Russell Wilson is 227.5, Scotty.
Okay. That's the current number?
Yeah, it's not even showing this. That's on Prize Picks. So.
Okay.
But yeah, 227.5. So it's probably around there on every book. But yeah, a lot of times these spreads don't get covered.
Plus, if the weather does kick in, that's definitely going to help the under on anything.
Yeah, well, you mentioned winds. I mean, they're going to probably move the ball on the ground unless there's mistakes and they've fallen behind by multiple points. Then they got to start throwing the ball. But I think they're going to keep him in check. Russell Wilson's had a decent year, but I don't know. Sean Payton, there's something missing there big time. They're just finding ways to lose games. All right, we got some games in college football on Thursday and Friday. I'm going to start with you, Big Kahuna. Anything you're looking at in college football, either Thursday or Friday?
I'm jumping to Friday. I'm going back with Coach Prime.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Well, Colorado, Stanford, 10.5 right now, 58.5. Colorado's 3-2-1 this year against the spread. Stanford is 2-3. Stanford got a total beatdown last week. 42-6.
Not to interfere, step in here, but that line is 11 right now in Colorado.
All right,
11.
Yeah, opened at 8.
Yeah.
Well, obviously a lot of money's coming on Colorado. Stanford last week total beat down 42-6.
Yep.
The Buffaloes did squeak out that 27-24 win against Arizona State. I think Coach Prime is just going to rally his troops here, and I see them winning by 2 touchdowns here. I'm going to take Colorado and minus the 11.
Best bet, regular play, what type of play?
Just a regular play.
Regular play only.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Mr. Teddy.
I have a lean regular play for Thursday. Real quick, interesting stat about that Colorado-Stanford thing. Both teams played Oregon and had the same exact score, lost 42-6 against Oregon. That's kind of interesting. You don't see that a lot. I'm on Houston Thursday night. Not huge. this is a battle of two teams that aren't great, Houston and West Virginia, as far as against the spread. West Virginia's 1-3 on the road against the spread. Houston's 2-5 at home against the spread in the last 7. Houston's passing game is finally getting going. They don't have a good defense. West Virginia does have a solid defense and a very solid run game. They run about 70% of the time. But I don't think West Virginia has the offense to run that score up to cover. I think it's going to be a field goal game. So I'm just a little light play on Houston plus 3.5. I'll give Thursday to you, Scotty, and then bring it back to me for Friday because I love a Friday play.
I'm going to throw it right back to you because I don't really see any value other than what I mentioned on Thursday with that prop play on Russell Wilson under the passing yards. Friday, I didn't like the card, but I love some games on Saturday and Sunday. So if you want to go into that Friday play before we move into the weekend, go right ahead.
Yeah, so Friday you have two teams in the AAC that are 4-1, Memphis and Tulane. But it's a tale of two 4-1s. Tulane's 4-1 is against better teams. Mm-hmm. They played very tough against Ole Miss, who's very good, without Michael Pratt. They have the 20th ranked defense in the country. Michael Pratt is coming back this week. He's going to kick that offense up big time. They played better teams than Memphis did. They played UAB, played South Alabama. They're 15-5 in their last 20 against the spread. Memphis is 4-1, but they had a cupcake schedule so far. And if you look at the teams they played, one of them wasn't even in the Division One. They have not faced an opponent on the level of Tulane. The line has moved from -3 to -5. When it gets into this range, I don't know what you think, what you guys think about this. I don't really like to buy any points at this range here when it's in this kind of no man's land. Yeah. I like to just let it ride at the 5. And
I'm showing 4.5 in a few spots too, but it could be 5,
4.5, 5. Yeah. I mean, what do you do with a line in that situation?
I mean, those are tough numbers to adjust off of. Anywhere from 4, 4.5, 5, and 5.5. I mean, I kind of stay away from that. I'd probably just leave it as is unless I really, really felt it needed an adjustment. But in a game like that, I think you're sitting with the right number to make the decision on without adjusting it.
Yeah,
well, that's my take on certain. It just really depends on the matchup, how it goes. But on a game like this, teams like these type of teams that are not watched as closely as some of the bigger marquee teams around the country, I kind of stay with the numbers set on the game.
But buying points is not for everyone.
No, of course not.
You rarely see people advising buy points because it goes back to earlier shows we had. It's going to add up on the VIG if you're wrong.
Oh, it adds up big time.
It adds up big time. So,
but it also can save you.
Could save you, but buying points is obviously an option. A lot of people don't like laying the 130, 140. Depends on the number.
But the problem is that's where I semi-disagree with you, Tommy, because it's not an option on a lot of sports books. And I always go back to this. If the sports book is stopping you from doing something, FanDuel doesn't let you buy points, DraftKings doesn't let you buy points. If a sports book is not letting you do something,
go for it.
There's a reason.
Yeah, because they don't want you to have a better edge than because you're smart enough to know a certain number should be adjusted to give you a better edge on that particular game. So they're not looking for sharp. They're not looking for the sharp guys to to come in and bet against them anyways. You know that. They're looking for the squares. 100%. And the squares don't buy points at the end of the day. If they listen to us and they're paying, they're dealing with us on our services, and we advise them to do that, they're going to follow. But most guys, when you ask them, do you buy points? No, I don't get involved with buying points. They don't even do teasers. Yeah. They just play them what they see, and that's, they hope for the best.
Just playing parlays, basically, is what it's coming down to.
Money line parlays is the biggest thing I hear. Just who's going to win the game, 4 or 5 teams in one. But let's move into this weekend.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Definitely.
We got a huge board of games this weekend. A couple of pretty primetime games throughout the day from 12 o'clock all the way to midnight. So you guys will be up till probably about 2 o'clock in the morning like we are, waiting to see what's going on those West Coast games. I'm going to start with Teddy. I'm going to see what his best bet. I want you to give me your best bet on Saturday for the audience because they want your best stuff. They want stuff that you feel that you can help them get that betting edge on. So if you could give your top play and also a backup
Well,
for Saturday.
I'll give a game that I'm gonna guess that you guys aren't touching or haven't really looked at, and then we can talk about some of the bigger Saturday games.
Okay.
But I'm all over Air Force minus 9.5 against Wyoming. Air Force is fully healthy. They're 5-0 this year, 5-2 against the spread overall in the last 7. They're home, and in this matchup, the home team has covered the spread in the last 4 years. They're coming off of a bye. They're a fast-starting team. This Air Force team only allows 1.5 points in the first quarter.
They're playing good ball.
Top 10 in every defensive category and the number 1 rushing team in the country. Wyoming, tight wins, not blowouts. Like Air Force, every win has been pretty much a blowout. They had one game that they won 13-3, but in my mind, that's a defensive shutdown. And Wyoming is ranked 95th against the run. This could be another, I should say, because they've had 300-plus rushing games already, another epic rushing performance, covering the spread, running the score up. I look at the Air Force schedule, and I see this team possibly going undefeated.
I'm showing 10.5 on that game.
I'm buying a point.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm buying a whole point on this one. Now, just on a side note, like I said, I mean, Air Force, they always have tough games against the other military schools, but overall, I can see them going undefeated.
Okay. You're not scared of this Wyoming after a 5-1 start?
5-1 start, thin margins, not huge spread covers. They're 3-2 against the spread in the last 5. They did lose to Texas. Texas that's their loss, so that's a tough team. So it's tough to. It's almost like they're 5-0, really, with Texas. But no, I think Air Force, being that Wyoming doesn't have a run defense, I think Air Force runs all over them.
All right. Well, Big Kahuna's itching, sitting on the hot seat over here. I want to pass the torch over to you. You got a best bet.
I have
not a lean, a best bet.
This is a best bet, and my only bet for Saturday, because I have some big plays for Sunday. Okay. All right, you're going to appreciate this one, Scotty. Bama, Arkansas.
Oh, boy.
All right, I believe it starts at noon.
Should I cover my ears?
Bama is not the team it used to be. And
really? Why? They're playing good now.
They're playing good, but they're not blowing people out like they used to. They've had some struggles here. They're 4-2. They're 4-2-0 ATS this year. Arkansas is 3-3. Yes, Arkansas has lost 4 games in a row, 3 on the road. But interesting point here: Arkansas losses have been 12 points or less this year. The line's 19.5. I just think that's too big of a number. Alabama's ranked 88th in total offense. So this is a team that.
But that defense is a monster. You don't need a lot of offense if you got
a tough
defense.
defense, but I just think the number is just way too high here.
Okay.
I'm going to take the points with the Razorbacks to cover. That's my best bet on Saturday.
All right. Anything else?
That's it for now.
I have to say something about that game.
All right.
First of all,
come to my defense.
Bama right now is finding their stride. This Jaden Milroe kid, it took a little bit of time, but he's starting to look like a Bama quarterback. This is starting to look like a Bama team. I think they come back this year. I think Bama could make it all the way to the playoffs like they did not last year. They had 2 losses last year. They only have 1 right now. I don't think they're losing another game. We got to see if they face Georgia in the champ. But I like in this game, 19 is a lot. Tommy's right.
It's 20 now.
20 is a lot also.
Just moved.
I'm all over Bama first half -10. They always start hot. I think Bama starts hot, maybe takes the foot off the gas a little bit and has trouble covering that 20. But Bama first half, I love it.
I think I'm sending Teddy to Tuscaloosa this weekend.
I'm fired up about Bama first half.
I think he's ready to go to the stadium.
20 is a tough number. It got to be up 4 touchdowns. Arkansas gets a cheap TD in the end. It could blow out the spread. So, yeah, can they blow them out? Of course they could. 20 points I feel comfortable with.
All right. Well, I'm going to get myself jacked up because I love a game on Saturday in college football at night. I am jumping. And I look for things that make me think to go, why? Why is this number the way this number is? I love Missouri against Kentucky this week. I think Kentucky has got their ass kicked in last week. I think they're coming home. They should have been at least a 3.5, 4.5 point favorite in this game. This number's 2.5. Obviously, I'm going to jump this game up to 3.5, buying it up. Guys, listen to me on that. On numbers like this, I definitely would adjust it. I love Missouri in this game. I think they can definitely play with them. I think they have a great shot of winning the game outright, believe it or not. And I love the Tigers, Missouri Tigers, plus 3.5 against Kentucky. I think they're going to lose back-to-back games. I think that game last week took a lot out of them. They had a lot of steam going in before that, and I think Missouri is not getting enough credit. They get the job done. Take it at plus 3.5 with Missouri. And one other game I love, it's a Pac-12 matchup, and this is the key game this weekend, both ranked in the top 10. You got Oregon and Washington playing against each other. I love the Ducks in this game. I think Bo Nix is going to be the key factor in the game with his experience going into a hostile environment like this. I think Oregon is definitely the real deal. Washington's a good, solid team on both sides of the ball. Don't get me wrong, but I like Oregon. I'm going to leave the number at plus 3. I'm not even going to adjust it off the 3. I think Oregon is the right way to go in this game. I think the experience of that quarterback that knows what he's doing, that goes into these environments like this in crucial games, will be a difference. I think the offense of Oregon's is a little stronger than Washington's, and I think the defenses will show up. So take Oregon, guys. That's my second best bet for Saturday. Anything else you want to add?
I have a little sprinkle on that game. So
Okay.
Oregon has a very good pass defense. Washington has a very bad pass defense. They both have high-powered offenses, right?
Definitely.
This total, last year the total was 74. They scored 72. This year, I believe, you could double check, but I believe the
check
total
right now.
I believe the total is 67 this year. I am in agreement with you, but I like doing better in this game. We know it's going to be a high-flying game. If you're just a fan and you're just looking to watch a fun game, this is going to be the game to watch. I like the teaser. You tease Oregon to 10. No way Washington's winning by 10 points. You tease Oregon to 10. You tease the total down to 60. You go over 60 and Oregon plus 10.
That's a 10-point tease?
No, 7-point teaser.
7-point
You're
teaser.
teasing the total down 7 to
Right.
60, and you're teasing Oregon to plus 10.
Well, you know my expression, somebody's O got to go. Both of these teams are both 5-0, I believe, currently, 5-0 this year. So I believe the O is going to stay with Oregon, and the first loss of the season's going to Washington in this game. But, yeah, this should be a fun, exciting game. You got a lot of experience on both sides of the ball. I just think the deciding factor is going to be some good, solid coaching that gives the upper hand with this Bo Nix running the offense for Oregon. I feel they find a way to win the game. Definitely.
Yeah, and one more Pac-12 game. I like Oregon State to cover against UCLA. Oregon State's 11-2 against the spread. UCLA's 3-6 against the spread. UCLA's 63rd in scoring. Oregon State's 14th in scoring, 7-0 at home, and they have the better quarterback in DJ than Dante Moore. I'm on Oregon State.
Yeah, I think UCLA got a couple of breaks last week by Washington State turning the ball over. They would have lost that game against. They're not showing a lot on offense right now with that backup quarterback.
No, they're middle of the pack.
So and like you say, the other team can put it up, especially at home. So that should be an interesting game. I'm not touching it, but all right, guys. I want to move right into the NFL. It's
NFL,
yeah. I know the Big Kahuna is jacked up. I have a play I'm looking at myself. I'm going to start with Teddy on this one. For Sunday. Best bet at all in the NFL?
I mean, I haven't really liked, I was looking at the NFL a lot. I don't really love anything yet. I like betting NFL Sunday morning when I get to see what the lines do, but you guys are going to laugh. I'm going with the same team I was wrong with last week. I'm going back to the Rams. I'm going back to the Rams against the Cardinals. I don't think the Cardinals are that impressive. They had that upset win against the Cowboys, but if you guys remember, when we were here last week talking about the 49ers Cowboys, and you two goats took the Cowboys, and I said, nope. I said the 49ers are going to crush them, and I said because the Cowboys really haven't faced any good teams. All they've done this year is beat up on bad teams, lose to a good team in 49ers, and lose to a bad team in the Cardinals. The Cardinals are 1-9 against the spread against the NFC West. The Giants put up 31 points against the Cardinals. They might have one of the worst defenses in the league. You got Cooper Kupp back in. You got the Rams, who know that they have a good offense, licking their chops to make a comeback, bounce back against this poor Cardinals offense. I think the Rams score 30, 40 points in this game and blow out the Cardinals.
Wow.
You like the total?
I'm not touching the total. I'm just taking Rams minus. I'm buying it from 7 to 6.5.
All right. Well, I know the big kahuna, Tommy D, has been waiting for the NFL.
Waiting patiently.
All right, let's do it.
Well, yeah, one game. I mean, you got to look at the lines, what the odds makers put out. Let's look at this 49ers-Browns game. Browns coming off a bye week. We know that. Niners, what can you say about their season? Perfect.
Can't beat that, right?
Can't beat that. But, has the Niners maybe leveled off a bit here? So it's a 5-point spread here. The total is telling me, I believe it's
6.5, by the way, big kahuna.
right, and the total's
The total I'm showing is 37.5.
That's a low
Probably
nu-
weather conditions
well,
in that
no,
game.
what? That's a low number.
Very low.
So what they're saying, if the odds makers are correct, this is going to be a tight game. All right, it's going to be a very tight game. It's probably going to be a running game. So
Well, they're just saying it's going to be probably a defensive game. Not saying it's going to be a defensive type of game.
defensive game. Here, and I don't want to go against what I was saying. Up to 6.5. I'm buying the point. I'm going to take the Brownies up to 7.5. Niners win this game by a field goal. I'm taking the Browns plus the 7.5. Low total. I see it as being a defensive battle. I'm going to grab the 7.5 with the Browns to cover.
Okay. Anything else?
One more game, and I'm going to just
Let's do it.
have to pounce on your boy Belichick.
Belichick. Come on, let's get it right.
Well,
If we're going to get it right.
It's Belichick, but
Belichick.
Belichick. All right.
Unless you're in France. If in France, you
Right,
do it differently,
right.
maybe. A little different expression.
Patriots have no offense. All right. So can they even score? That's a whole big question mark. They're going to Las Vegas, Sin City. All right.
Don't forget, though, Josh McDaniels, the head coach of the Raiders, was with Belichick for years, so,
All right. So
they know each other.
They know each other, but they probably don't like each other. So to get right to the point here, I think the Patriots in total disarray here. They may not even score, maybe one touchdown. Vegas is at home. I'll buy it down to 2.5. I take Vegas to cover against the Patriots. Patriots have shown absolutely nothing, especially last week. I'll take Vegas at home minus the 2.5.
Okay. 2.5. You're going to buy it down?
I'll buy it down a half point, but I really, really like the Browns plus 7.5 over the Niners.
That's the best bet?
That's my best bet for Sunday.
You heard it here, guys. Big kahuna all over that play. On the you want Cleveland, right?
Cleveland.
All right. All right, listen up, guys. I got one play I absolutely love in the NFL on Sunday. I am going to jump on the Seattle Seahawks. I am going to take them to +4. This is why I buy certain games. On the road, yes, everyone knows about Joe Burrow. Everyone knows how well they played last week.
He's back.
He is back, but we don't know how back against a really tested defense. They played Arizona. I would not call that a major test. They are going to have a little test. The Seattle team is playing right on both sides of the ball. Geno Smith is moving this team in a good direction. They can score as well. They score on the road. They play well on the road. Pete Carroll is a great coach. And I believe that they're going to find a way to go into Cincinnati, cause fits with their defensive schemes, and have enough offense to get the job done in this game. I'm going to buy it to +4 with Seattle. I think Seattle's a live dog in this game, and I wouldn't be surprised if they could pull the upset. That's my best bet and only bet for Sunday in the NFL. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, no, Seattle's a good team, and they beat the Lions, who's looking like a very good team right now.
Really good team.
Geno's very good. I like that bet. I mean, this game could go. It's a tough call. That's a ballsy one because it could go Bengals money line, or it could go Seattle plus 3.5, +4.
Yep.
This is going to be it's going to be a good football game.
I got to ask both of you guys a question. I saw this on the other day. What team do you think at this point in time, we got 5 weeks under our belt, has a better shot to get to the Super Bowl? Detroit Lions or the Dallas Cowboys? I'm going to ask you first, Teddy. What do you think at this point? I saw that on a show, and I thought it was interesting. They were just talking about some teams that had a shot. Now, you could say both don't have a shot, or which one of those two you think has a better chance to make the Super Bowl?
Well, let me start with I wouldn't bet on either of them to go. But if you gave me the choice between the two, you've already heard what I've been preaching about the Dallas Cowboys. They have not showed me anything.
Okay.
They are overrated because they're America's team. Dak I don't think is good. I think Detroit has the better quarterback in Goff.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have the better coach in Campbell. I got to look at their defensive numbers. Their defensive numbers aren't the best. They're middle of the pack, but they do have the number one defense against the rush. They're giving up the least rushing yards in the country right now, which allows them to get their defense off the field quickly. I would say Detroit all day.
Okay. And Goff's pretty good, man. He's a great manager of the. I mean, he doesn't make many mistakes. You know, since he's been with Detroit, he seems to cut down on the mistakes, and he seems to manage that team pretty well.
He does well in the system. To me, that's a no-brainer. I wonder where were they asking that? ESPN?
It was on a show, the other day I was watching. I just thought it was pretty cool just at this point in time. I mean, still, listen, it's only 5 weeks into the season, going into week 6, but we're 1/3 of the way through football season already. Can you believe it?
Crazy.
The Big Kahuna and I were talking about football back in March.
Sitting here in July,
6 weeks into
July
it
and August, 99 degrees down here in South
Do you want
Florida.
to comment on that? Or
Well, I
because you were picking Dallas to get to the Super Bowl.
But I try to tie on what Teddy's saying here. Neither team, but let me explain. Detroit's at least a year or two away from being a Super Bowl contender, in my opinion. All right? That's A. Dallas always finds a way to screw up in the playoffs. So
Always have.
Always have. And if that's a pattern, like Jerry Jones said, we're sick, real sick.
But why do you feel that Detroit's 2 or 3 years away? Because they're pretty much on their game plan right now.
They're on their game plan, but look who they're going to be up against. So we got some tough hombres out there.
They beat the best team, the champs, Kansas City, week 1, right?
As far as getting in the Super Bowl is the question.
Which one of those two would get to the Super Bowl?
I see neither. Detroit a year or two away.
No
Cowboys, if they continue what they do every year, somehow they'll mess up late in the playoffs.
Let me add this. I think Detroit makes it to the playoffs this year. I don't even think the Cowboys make it to the playoffs.
Wow.
I don't think they're good. I need to see them beat a good team. Who have they beat? They beat
the Jets,
the Giants,
the Jets, and
the
New
Giants,
England. The Jets,
the
and New England.
Patriots. I mean, just
they destroyed
trash.
those two, but that's nothing.
Giants and Patriots. Nothing. They haven't done a thing.
All right.
Detroit.
Before we wrap up, guys, Major League Baseball playoffs are heating up.
Yeah.
I already lost my pick. I thought they could get to the World Series. They got swept yesterday with Baltimore. I can't believe they won 101 games during the regular season. And Texas is just a chainsaw massacre, as they say right now. The Texas chainsaw massacre is definitely here because they are playing tremendous. Any takes on baseball at this, where we're at this stage? Obviously, there's some surprises. Who you thinking right now is your top pick to get to the World Series? Who do you think is going to face each other?
I like one of these Texas teams making it out of the AL for sure. I mean, that's pretty much what it looks like is going to happen at this point.
All right.
And I like them taking it all. I like a Texas team winning it. We were talking around the All-Star break. I was bringing up the Rangers. I love what they're doing, but the Astros are very good too. The Braves seem to find a way to choke. This game's tonight. I think it's 1-1 Braves-Phillies right now.
Yes, it is.
The Phillies always find a way to beat the Braves as of late, and it looked like they were going to do it again. The Braves mounted a great comeback in the last game, so I'm really interested to see what happens between these two teams. As far as the D-backs and the Dodgers, I don't see either of those teams, so I think it's going to be the Braves against the Texas team, and I think a Texas team is going to win the Super Bowl out of the AL. I mean, the World Series out of the AL.
All right.
A lot of upsets here. I mean, you're laying big favorites. You're getting burnt right now. I agree with Teddy. Houston Astros, if I had to pick out one, but look what's going on with the Dodgers and all. So you got quality teams now. I think it's up in the air right now, but I would probably say the Houston Astros.
All right. So you guys think that somebody out of the state of Texas is going to get the job done and win the World Series?
Yeah.
Whether it's don't the Rangers have to play the Astros or no?
That's what's going to happen. It's going to be if the Astros win their series, it's going to be a Texas ALCS.
Right.
Pretty cool.
Okay.
For the state of Texas.
So you're thinking it's either going to be Philly or Atlanta against one of those Texas teams?
I think it's going to be either Philly or Atlanta against one of those Texas teams. Exactly.
All right, well, we had a big-time action show going this week.
Good show, good show.
I want to get some final thoughts from you guys. Anything you want to say before we send it off till next week?
Two things. Number one, these sports books in these legal states right now are doing cash outs where if your team is up by 17 points or more in football, they're cashing you out right away. They're not doing it because they're nice guys. They're doing it because they want you to get that money back in your hands because you're probably going to win that bet and bet it on something else that's going to lose. So if you're going to take your cash outs, that's fine, but don't put it right back on something else just because you won money. That's a recipe for disaster. It happened to some of my clients this last week. And the other thing is, if you're an athlete, be careful with the women. Look what happened with Trevor Bauer. He was trapped. His life was ruined. His career was ruined.
Yep.
And it was all a setup by some girl that wanted to make a lot of money.
And
so
how many millions did he lose over the years? So he had
Hundreds.
$100 million. He had over $100 million.
he was
contract.
worth 50, but he could have made hundreds more, and he didn't.
Yeah. And so what's the status there? Is he going to come back into the league, or they don't know yet?
Not sure. He's older now. It's been a few years.
Yeah, he
With
was a
these
good pitcher.
pitchers, it's tough with pitchers. Pitchers switch really quickly, very physically demanding. So we don't know yet. But it's sad what happened to him, and that's it.
All right. Let the people know where they can get the great information 7 days a week. You have it out there on social media. You have it on the website. Where can the people reach out and find you each and every day?
Yep, youtube.com/@thesportsprofits, _profits_pick on Instagram, and @thesportsprofits on TikTok.
All right. The one and only Tommy D, a.k.a. the Big Kahuna. Where can they find you?
Well, for starters, Google
I know the hat's showing.
Google OSB Sports. All my platforms come up, but our main site, onlinesportsbet.com, we have that odds widget comparison feed, really good tool, onlinesportsbet.com. Instagram, multiple picks daily, OSB_sports. YouTube, OSB-sports.
Hold on, I can't write this down this fast. Jesus Christ.
Just Google
Slow it down, man.
Google OSB Sports. We all come up top.
All right. All right, guys, you can find me each and every day. I'm out there busting my ass, doing videos, doing everything I can to give you that winning edge on my TikTok @SMPicks. That's SMPicks, Picks. And on Instagram, yes, Instagram as well, @SMSportsPicks, Picks. Well, we had another great show. I think both you guys, dynamite show. I hope we informed you guys the best we can, looking to give you that winning edge each and every week. Check out our show on all podcast forums that are out there. You know how to find them. It's the OSB Sports Podcast Show. I'm Scott Matthews. We'll catch you back here next week.
Very good.